going to make a short video on how to change an oil filter on a 2010 Ford Expedition. It's got the V8 5.4 liter engine in it. Pretty common truck, F-150s, same thing. These are the stuff that I'll use. I just use this 520 synthetic blend motor oil, and I go ahead and use a Motorcraft filter. Just get it at Walmart. It's pretty inexpensive. Before I drain the oil, I usually pull the cap off and or pull the dipstick out to let air in. It drains a little bit faster. I pull this up on a today I just pulled it up on a curb, put a little board under that side. This is a pretty high vehicle. You don't need to get much higher off the ground. I got one of these little things here. Put it underneath the oil drain pan. Probably have some paper towel handy. Rubber gloves, you should wear them. Do this one-handed. Not going to be easy. There's the drain plug. It's a 16 millimeter or a 5/8 wrench or socket. Just loosen it up. Make sure this is going to catch all the oil. Pull this out. Try not to get too much oil on my hands here. I usually wear rubber gloves, but I don't have any today. I'd warm the vehicle up a little bit. Not a lot, you can burn your hands, but take it around the block. Let some air into this thing too. It'll feel smoother. Go ahead and let all the oil drain out. This is the boring part. These particular trucks don't have any grease fittings that I know of. Could look in the manual online to make sure. I think there's about 7 quarts in here, so it takes a while to drain. Try to change oil in this particular truck about every 5,000 miles. If you use full synthetic Mobil 1, that you could probably go 6 or 7. If you're using non-synthetic or synthetic blend, I would go about 3,000 to 4,000. Go ahead and let it drain out of there. Hopefully you can still hear me. Now we'll put the drain plug back in. Not getting too messy, I hope. If you're in a nice driveway or something, you might want to put a big piece of cardboard under here. You don't want to drip stuff on the concrete. And then tighten it. Now we're gonna, if you got a creeper, got your car up a little higher, it'd be a little easier to get in and out, but this works. Something I only do like twice a year on this particular truck. I have a quick lube, small quick lube business, and over an hour from here, but I don't like to drive this that far if I don't have to. It takes a lot of gas. There's a filter on here. Pretty easy to get to. you may need a cup wrench or a plier wrench or strap wrench. When you go buy the filter, look in the book at the store or on the computer. Find a wrench that fits that filter, and you'll probably fit this filter. But I can turn it with my hand. It's pretty easy to get to it. I'm changing thousands of filters. Kind of used to it. Oil will run down somewhere back there. So just break the seal and see where it's running so you can catch it all. And then go ahead and let it all, just take it off here. This can get a little messy sometimes. These trucks are actually pretty easy to do compared to some. Try to keep it faced this way so it doesn't all spill. And a bunch of oil in there. I'll set it in here upside down. I'll show you why in a minute. Take a look at the base up there, make sure it's clean. Won't hurt to wipe it off. Then grab your new filter. Need to put some oil on there. You can get some of the new oil. I just go like this. Also make sure the old gas gets on this filter, because sometimes they stick to the engine and that's a mess. And screw the new one on there. Depending how strong you are, you can probably get as tight as you need to get it with your hand. There we go. And you can go ahead and tip this filter back over and let it drain. It's not going to all drain out. There's that big flap in there. You have to puncture a hole in the side and in the top to get it all drain out if you want to drain it all out. Now what I do sometimes, I spray a little brake cleaner around there. That flushes all the old oil off. This one runs down pretty good. I don't have to do it. It's already done dripping. I don't care if I get a couple drops in the road here. Okay, that under the car part is done. Get a funnel. Stick it in here. That's the oil fill. Took this cap off. It says 520 right on there. Make sure you pull that out, lets air out while you're filling it. These are 5-quart containers. I know this takes somewhere between 6 and 7 quarts. So I'll go ahead and dump this whole 5 quarts in here. Try not to spill it. It's a little harder with one hand, but make sure nothing's bubbling out down there. Some cars, it won't take the oil very fast. It could start coming out, make a mess. Right. Then what I do is I go ahead and check it to see if it's somewhere in the safe. Pull the dipstick out, wipe off the end of it. Back in the dipstick tube. Check it. It's still a quart and a half down at least. So I'm going to go ahead and dump another quart in there. You don't want this to end up getting in your oil, so dispose of that somewhere. I'll dump another quart and a half in. You can check it again if you want to make sure it's. You don't want to run it, 2 quarts down. It might make the low oil light come on or something. And you definitely don't want too much in. So put about a half a quart less than the book says, and then run it and check it. Stick that in there so it drips. I'm gonna go ahead and start the car. I should put the cap on. Some cars oil splashes out. I don't think it does on here, but in some newer cars actually need the dipstick in to run, because this one doesn't, but don't worry about it. Just don't want that to fall down on something while you run. Go ahead and start the car. Make sure the oil light shuts off right away, or oil pressure goes up. Everything looks fine. And come on over here and just check while it's running underneath it. Make sure nothing's squirting out. Let it run for about 30 seconds to a minute. It's all you need to get the oil all circulated. Shut it off. Let it sit for at least 30 seconds. Wipe the dipstick off. If you can, let it sit for 1 or 2 minutes so you get a more accurate reading, I think. But now I'm gonna check, see where we're at. Some of these dipsticks are really hard to read. It looks like we're down 1 quart, which is about right. So I'm gonna add a little more oil. I like to leave it down just a little bit, like about 1/8 of a quart down, because then all it heats up, I think it expands a little. And it sits a while. It's if you let it sit for a long enough time, it starts to go up a little. All the engine drains down, all the oil drains down to the oil pan. See, it's still down just a little bit. Those hash marks usually represent, if you can see them, 1 quart. So it's showing down about 1/3 of a quart. So I think I just want to add a little bit more, and then that'll be it. You know what, I think it's a good idea after you've taken on the first little drive somewhere to check it again, just to make sure everything is good. I'll check it one more time here. Yeah, it's down just a little bit. So I'm going to leave it down about 1/8 of a quart. I put about 7 quarts in, so it should be good. Put the cap back on. Make sure you do that before you close the hood. Always check. Excuse me. Make sure your cap's on. Make sure dipstick's in. Make sure all your caps are tight. If you checked your power steering, your coolant, that's on the low side. It could add a little. I don't have any today. The brake fluid right there. Make sure that's in the safe. You can read on the side. Oops. Sorry, I dropped the phone. Damn string getting hooked on everything. Washer fluid. I'll go ahead and add a little bit to that since I have some. This is Wisconsin and winter's coming, so I'm putting, make sure you read the side of the bottle, because this time of year they sell the winter and summer stuff. This is the winter, minus 20 below. Summer stuff will say plus 32 on it. That's it. Close your hood. You're done. Oil is changed. Thank you for watching. Bye.